really a matter of can we change the world? It's really a matter of how do we want to change the world? So to begin, I want to first talk about this word, the environment. We think of something out there. I still think most people don't think of the environment as being their surroundings. They think of something out there, something far away, maybe the endangered whale in some faraway ocean. We don't think about the environment as being, the air in our lungs, the trash that we throw away. We don't think of it as our economic interactions. We don't think of it as our community in which we live. We don't think of it as the toilet that we flush. We don't think of it as where we really exist. That this is the biggest difference, one of the biggest difference between the Western scientific view of the world and Indigenous worldviews. The separation between ourselves and the environment. In a lot of cultures, there isn't even a word for nature or for ecology or for the environment. And I think that this very separation of this idea of environment really inherently, maybe subconsciously, teaches us that the environment is an external thing, and it lets us let go of our connection and responsibility to the things that we do to the environment, which we're ultimately really doing to ourselves. Growing up, I also learned that if you care about something, you have to raise your voice. One thing I've always been taught is you have to stand up for what you believe. If you care about something, you have to raise your voice. You have to stand up for what you believe. It seems to me that worldwide, just as we are really seeing a revolution in access to information, access to different cultures, access to exploration, just at that same time, we are also experiencing a massive revolution, a decline in diversity in the world. Access to exploration, just at that time, we are all experiencing a massive revolution, a decline in revolution in the world. What is radical? How do you change the world? Who is a revolutionary? In Rio, I thought if I could just speak to the world leaders, if I could remind them of the potential that they have, of the power that they have, then they could really make a difference. They could really change the world. What's happened since? Well, that summit happened, and that kind of was about the peak of that environmental movement at that time. Definitely the 90s were not about sustainability. I've been to many conferences since. I've given many talks, been involved in many projects. I've been to many environmental conferences that are about sustainability, and yet they use an incredible amount of resources when they're there. And it's really made me ask, what is radical? Is it meeting with world politicians? Is being radical getting a gathering of important leaders together to discuss climate change, even though you're going to burn a lot of fossil fuels to get them? Is being radical living completely self-sustainably in a little cabin up there in the woods? Is being radical running a capitalist business that has a triple bottom line? Is it protesting the WTO or the FTA in the streets? Is it running as a politician? Is it refusing to vote at all? Is being radical thinking and acting on what is really important in life? Well, I think that it's all of these things. And it's all of these things, and it's many, many more things. Movements only really happen really a matter of can we change the world. It's really a matter of how we want to change the world.